Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Vibe Nation. Today we're here to watch another video. Today we're here to watch this insane Fast and Furious, the fan theory might actually be true. It's by Zaffy. If you want to watch the original video, links will be in the description down below. As a person who's a fan of the Fast and Furious series, more of the earlier types. I mean, the later, I would say past 5, like 6, 7, 8, 9, and I guess now 10, past more of a, it's okay. For an action type movie, it's good. But if we're gonna talk about what I feel like, if you asked me where I felt like Fast and Furious should have ended, should have been at the 5th movie. I felt like that would have been a nice, happy ending in a sense. But then again, we can argue to say whether or not 6 or 7. But I can sometimes agree that, yeah, I feel like it's gone a little bit much, especially with cars going into outer space. But hey, let's go ahead and jump right into this. If you want to watch the original video, links will be in the description down below. And let's go in 3, 2, 1, play.
This Fast and Furious movie theory may not just be a meme. The simple truth is, this might be real. The Fast and Furious movies, after a certain point in time, became something else, and there might be a deeper reason why. These movies are not what you think. They are a facade. What I'm about to tell you in this video is 199% the honest truth. I am not schizophrenic, people. I'm not. Hear me out. I promise you, you'll walk away from this video with your mind blown. I made this video, a Fast and Furious video, quite some time ago. It blew up. It's one of my most viewed videos of all time. But I made the claim that the Fast and Furious movies went from street racing to Avengers, and I wanted to explore why. Now, a lot of people in the comments came at me pretty hard and said, hey, you moron, the Fast and Furious movies were never really about street racing. They were always crime/heist movies.
And that would be the same amount of people that would say the same thing. They've always been crime/heist movies, drama. From the first movie with, doing heist on trucks, to the 5th movie. But I find it very interesting on how they looped everything and made them connected. Especially since, like, you go from 1 to 2 and then you have 3, which was kind of a bit of a change because they brought a 3rd movie with a different cast and crew, except for Vin Diesel showing at the end. And as if that was like the homing, like the beacon, like, okay, we're gonna put this one here, but we're gonna make this one as a sense of to tie in why they made I believe the 6th movie. No, the 7th movie. Yeah, they made the 3rd movie as a good way to tie in to the 7th movie, and so on. So yeah.
Nothing's changed. To these absolute fools who claim this, I agree with you.
Why are you calling me fool? I mean, like, I wasn't coming at the guy's neck or anything, but still, like, why me? Like, what did I do?
They weren't about street racing. That wasn't the point of my video. The point is that, yes, they're all crime movies. They went from crime movies that had heart to crime movies with no soul. We have seen action movies that have topped themselves after every film, like Mission Impossible, where the movies actually are great. They are consistent. Some would say they even have gotten better since the earliest ones. But Fast and Furious, they've become cartoons without souls. It wasn't always the case. They used to have heart. You can have an action crime movie that can be good, not just the same old generic film with characters that are just godlike immortals. There's a theory that explores why this happened. That explores why we went from actual people, human beings, in like a crime drama to whatever the hell it is now, Avengers and Justice League put together with characters that cannot die. Why? Some could say, oh, it's just...
I ain't gonna lie, that thing when Roman was talking about, like, they can't die, that, I think I think that the movie is poking fun at itself at that point because, like, I mean, there's just no way to get away from the criticisms that they're getting now. So I wouldn't be surprised that they did that as a means to make fun of themselves, you know?
The movies topping themselves, and because of the actors' big egos. Yeah, sure, I agree. But there's a way to square all this. And it all goes back to the first film. In 2001, I think. Remember that final race between Brian and Dom? We're just gonna show who the better racer is. We're gonna race. It's about masculinity, testosterone up in here. We're gonna do one final race. And how did it end? Dom got annihilated by a fucking truck. This car crash is one of the biggest ones in the franchise, low-key, despite this being one of the more grounded films in the franchise. This car flipped into the damn air. This was back when Dom still seemed somewhat human, but even after this, he comes out of it completely fine, just rubbing one arm, as if he just got like shot in the arm or something. I mean, realistically, he should be fucking dead or put in a hospital, but no.
I would say that too. Like, he should have been at least hospitalized after that. Being the fact that Charger, if I'm not mistaken, had 900 horsepower, enough to, like, twist the frame on the vehicle, if I'm quoting the movie correctly. And then on top of that, it had a roll cage in it. Most people need helmets with vehicles with roll cages. So imagine getting in that kind of accident and just walking away. I think he had he was bleeding from the head, but can you imagine getting to an accident like that and hitting your head against one of the roll cage bars? Again, goes double for Dom, being the fact that he has no hair to cushion his head. So, yeah, he should be at least knocked out or hospitalized at this point.
Brian gave him the keys and let him drive off. And ever since then, Dom has been immortal to worse car crashes and fights. Why? It almost seems fantastical after that moment. It almost seems like it's all one big dream. Everything after the first Fast and Furious movie and Too Fast and Furious. Although Too Fast and Furious, that might not have worked because they do reference Dominic Toretto on that. But everything after this has all been a freaking dream while Dom has been in a coma for the last 10 plus years. The end, what happens at the end of Fast X? Jason Momoa lets off all these bombs go off. Jason Momoa lets all these bombs go off and it explodes. And there's a cliffhanger. We don't know what happens to everyone. We assume they're all going to survive because this ain't going to kill all the members of the family. But there's a big explosion. I believe that this is a thing that wakes Dominic up from his 10-year coma. The end to the dream. I have proof that this is the case, y'all. I have proof! It all comes down to Rome. In Fast 8, Rome actually calls this out. He calls something out. The fact that, y'all ever notice how we can't die anymore? Like, we almost as if we have powers. And Tej, because he's a simp for the chick, he's like, you're an idiot, Rome. Tej does anything he can to knock Rome down so he can look better in front of this girl. Both Tej and the girl laugh. Both Tej and Ramsey laugh at Rome. They laugh it off. Tej is a clown-ass bitch, in my opinion, because I don't care. I like Luda. And I know a lot of people will be like, how do you hate Tej? How do you Tej's legacy is literally throwing Rome under the bus. Rome is the one sane person in here because he's the one calling all this logic tree bullshit out. He always puts Rome down. But this goes deeper than just two friends bickering. I believe that Rome, because of all these, he calls everything out in every movie. Fast 5, we're going to break into a police station to rob a bank. Fast 6, bro, we're going to take down a plane. He always calls things out. He's always trying to leave. He represents Dom's subconscious. Dom's mind that is simultaneously aware that this might be a dream, but he's also a character within the dream. Rome represents this. And these two, who always laugh at him, and everyone else who's always silent when he's trying to bring these things up, this logic, they always shut him up. They always laugh at him and tell him to shut up. Tej always tells Rome to shut up. Shut up and dream. We're keeping you in the dream. They are like the hippocampus, the dream state that's keeping Dom locked in, because if he doesn't, it's like a survival thing almost. They have to keep him in the coma, because if he is out of the coma but still asleep, he might die, right? I truly believe that's what they represent. Here's another thing. Vin Diesel himself states that these movies are Oscar-worthy. He said, if the Oscars want to stay relevant, they better nominate Fast and Furious 7 for Best Film of the Year award.
Listen, I like the franchise. I do. I've been watching it since I was a child, but even I would say that's a stretch. I wouldn't even say, listen, man. I'd rather say, if we're talking about an acting, out of all of them, I would probably put 4. 4 would probably be my top spot for trying to nominate for an Oscar. But come on, man. Really? But it does make sense. That Roman being the subconscious and Tej and Ramsey being the ones to stay asleep. Like I can see where I can kind of see it. Oh, okay.
That's what he thinks about these movies. I think that Vin Diesel has found something in this story, and it's all leading to a film that he wants to put under the name Oscar. He wants to make a film that will get the Oscar. It's all leading to one thing, guys. They're running away from all this now. After the bomb that was Fast X in the box office, and Vin Diesel apparently blaming it on Jason Momoa, they're running away from anything related to this kind of storyline. They said they're going back to grounded roots now. Sure. But that's what they said. I believe that they have listened to the fan memes, y'all. And it becomes slightly self-aware. Despite Vin Diesel's massive ego and The Rock's massive ego, I believe something's going to happen in the next Fast and Furious movie. This is the most important part of the video, by the way. If you're thinking about leaving, do not. This is the most important part of the movie. I'm about to predict to you what the next Fast and Furious movie is. And yes, I could be violently wrong about this whole thing and just look like an absolute moron when they release a movie that's just like all the others. But I think they might be smarter than that. Okay?
Okay. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and go ahead and think about this, right? If they are running away from this entire storyline, I mean the fact of how outrageous that the whole story, it's kind of like a runaway train at this point, to be honest. But if they do, if this theory could work, if it is possibly a true thing that could be happening with this theory, then the coma thing could work. Dom never got out of the car. He was knocked out because of probably hit his head and probably had brain hemorrhaging. He ended up, being hospitalized, being in a coma for 10 plus years. He never deepened his bond with Brian O'Connor. Everything's just, So all I can say is that if he wakes up from his 10-year coma, what would happen, right? Would he just go back to manning the convenience store that we all know? Or would he go back to just wrenching on cars or ducking the law? Or would he go back to heisting on semi-trucks? Like, what would be the direction?
I know that's bad for me to say about a Hollywood studio because none of them are smart these days. Don't be mad at me, Fast and Furious fans, who are fans of all the Fast and Furious movies that have come. They love the gimmick. Don't be mad at what this movie's about to be. This movie's about to upset y'all. But for the fans that want an actual film, this is what's going to happen, okay? So we start off Fast X. Big-ass explosion at the end of it. Boom! Dom wakes up from his coma. He wakes up in a doctor's office. The audience is like, what the fuck's going on? He wakes up. He's like, what is this? What the hell is this? His doctor consults him. He's like, hey, you've been in a coma for the last 10 plus years, bro. For over a decade, you've been in a coma. And I don't know why you woke up, but it might have something to do with the fact that Letty decided to pull the plug because she and everyone lost faith that you were coming back. They decided to pull the plug on you. And something about hearing them pulling the plug, it sparked Dom's mind, and now he's back from a coma. It's almost like God is helping him, It's almost like the cross is being put to use. Everyone in his...
Which would be very interesting, the fact that they lost faith in him, coming back from his coma. Because that's another element to how the movies have been playing, is that it was that a lot of things were going by faith. you know? And that's a recurring theme in that that you would probably see in the movies, that things were basically worked out if you had faith. And for them to say that they lost the faith in thinking that Dom would wake up is a drastic from how this, apparent dream like scenario that Dom is cooked up in this 10-year coma.
His family in these movies has moved on in this last decade. Every one of them has moved on. Everyone that he thought he knew, right? She has Dom's kid. She and Dom, let's say she and Dom had a kid. She was pregnant before, and she's had a kid. She's been raising him on her own for the last 10 years, waiting for Dom. But she's given up now. Dom's son is the same son that he had in the movies. Letty even restored Dom's charger, like she did in the movies, in real life. The Rock is a police officer that was the first to the scene where Dom crashed and brought him to the hospital. That's why The Rock is that law enforcement character Hobbs in the actual movie, in his dream. Charlize Theron is one of the doctors that was on board helping Dom in the hospital. Dominic Toretto is coming to terms with the fact that he's missed over a decade of his life, and everyone's moved on. He can't drive anymore. It's a health risk, right? His mind goes berserk with PTSD and shit when he tries to drive, and he just kind of got out of a coma. It's not advisable to drive either way. So he's stuck. Meanwhile, Letty and Mia have been managing the Toretto's restaurant. That restaurant from Fast and Furious 1 that everyone forgot about. Finance Mia, one of those
Hey, I didn't forget. You heard it from me. I didn't forget. But then again, what did I say? I say that there was a chance that he was going to end up possibly, if they were going to put him back into that, or if that convenience store was going to make a reoccurrence if he came out of the coma. Because not driving, that right there is going to be a big, for us who love the cars and the races and the action stuff, that's going to be this movie's going to be heavy. So I really wonder if that he comes out of this, coma, if the ending of this movie would be a bittersweet one, or will it kind of leave everybody with a, this is okay. This is fine.
One of the most beautiful actresses on planet Earth. I'll go to the grave thinking that, but she tells Dom that in waiting, she got with Brian, but it didn't work out. And unfortunately, something happened. God fucking damn it. Macro keeps putting these fucking hot chicks in these slides to make me look like a pervert. People think I'm thirsty for women on these videos. I'm not. But my assistant Macro puts them in these slides to make me look bad because he's a
Listen, man, it's okay. It's okay. She's beautiful. We get it. We're not. It's fine, man. It's okay.
Fucking idiot. She's hot though. Brian O'Connor, after the events of Too Fast and Too Furious, he died in an attempt at street racing or some kind of heist accident. Something that gave him an adrenaline rush, right? We can't have Paul Walker in this movie, this hypothetical film, right? So we can't have Brian in the film. Brian died. And Mia tells Dominic Toretto about it. So Dominic Toretto has just learned that Brian, his boy, died doing what Dom loved. So this movie is largely about Dom trying to find his place in this new world after just waking up and dreaming that fantasy of all those Fast and Furious movies we saw, all those crazy action Avengers films. He even sees a carjacking happen, and he tries to fight them off, thinking he's still the Dominic Toretto from his dreams, that powerful dude who never dies. But he gets his ass beat. He's older now. He just got out of a freaking coma. He's been in a bed for the last 2 years. He gets his ass beat. He's not what he was in his dream. He's not what he was before his dream. So Dom is like, shit, man. What do I do here? I kind of miss my dream life. And Dom copes, trying to convince himself, okay, this might still be a dream. If I pinch myself enough, maybe I'll wake up. It's almost like he's depressed now. This life is too boring for him. He has everything he's ever wanted. He has a business. He has a kid. He has a wife, a girl. He has his family intact. But this life It's mundane compared to the one he just dreamt, the vivid dream that he just had of his life for the last 10 years in the coma. It's like pathetic to that life he had, because that life he had was insane. He starts to visit everyone in his dream, everyone that made up the team, the family in his movies, the characters. He visits Rome. Well, Rome and Tej have established their own garage, right? Similar to how it was teased in the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah. Okay.
He even visits Hobbs. Dwayne Johnson's character is a police officer, and Dwayne Johnson even says, hey, weird, we don't really like each other in real life. We never got along even when you knew me as a cop before. And Hobbs is the one to bring him to the hospital. That's why Hobbs is in his dream as a law enforcement person. He visits Han and Giselle, or a chick who looks like Giselle, because I'm not... Gal Gadot cannot be casted in these films again. But she can't act. But they tell Dom that they had visited Dom in the hospital many times. In fact, they're not the only ones. John Cena was a construction builder within the hospital that would come in and out of the room that Dom was in. And his voice influenced Dom. That's how John Cena made it into the world. Mr. Nobody is actually just a senior neurologist that was looking up on Dom as a patient. Jason Momoa was this like weird psycho patient that was in the room one time with Dom as well. Dom starts to realize his movies have been created because all these characters, all these people have actually visited him during his coma in real life, and they speaking to him while he's asleep. They have influenced his goddamn dreams to make those films. So Dom is like, fuck. I'm not living in a dream. This is real life. And my dream was just a fiction that my mind created as a response to the shit that was happening outside while I was asleep. So this movie is largely about Dom's character coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to live a mundane life, to appreciate the little things in life, and not go after the crazy adventure, the action, the superhero shit. It's him coming to terms with putting that to bed and realizing he can live a life beyond that, in real life. But then, towards the end of the movie, he gets a call. He hears a nasally British voice on the other end. Who could it be? He's told to meet this person at the cafe so this person has important information about their coma. So he sits at the table nervously. Who comes? Shaw, the one guy that hasn't been touched upon yet in this video. Jason Statham comes. Why is Jason Statham calling this dude? Well, Jason Statham says that he and his brother did visit Dom at one point at the hospital too. Why? Because Jason Statham was a fan of Dom way back when Dom was doing the street racing in his prime. You see, Shaw was a lot younger back then and actually looked up to Dom. He was obsessed with cars too. And his dream was always to race Dom. So, Jason Statham says, hey, it's been my dream to always race you. And I brought you here because I wanted to ask you, will you do one race with me? Let's see who the fastest is. Just for fun. Now, Dominic Toretto knows that he can't do a race right now because it's against the health advice by all the medical experts. But he says, yeah. He says, yes, let's do it. And Jason Statham suggests, let's go to Desert Wars. You guys remember Desert Wars? The desert place where all these people race? Well, let's go. Desert Wars
wasn't it called Race
Desert Wars, but they go to the location where it used to happen.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to Race Wars. If I'm not mistaken, the Race Wars got only touched upon. I think it got touched upon in the beginning of Fast Furious 7. When, they got Letty back and, she was just trying to come to grips with, her having amnesia.
So Jason Statham saddles up. Dom saddles up. Dom gets that old Charger back. And Letty, Mia, all these guys, all these friends of Dom, these family members of Dom, they come to see what's happening. And they're worried about Dom because they've told him, do not do this. But now Dom is adamant about doing so they're there to support him cautiously. Dom gets out his Charger. Statham, let's say he gets an Aston Martin. I don't know anything about cars, but that's a cool car to me. And they fucking race it out. And it's a really intense race. This is the final act of the film, y'all. It's an intense race. You think Dom might go crazy and crash his car or whatever, but they get to the finish line and Dom edges him out. Dom beats Jason Statham. Dom certainly has a surge of adrenaline, like he's like, yes, I'm back, this is who I was. Dom keeps driving. He doesn't come back. He doesn't circle back and come back to his family. He keeps driving, and Letty is like, what the fuck's going on? Where's he going? Everyone's like, where's Dom going? Even Jason Statham's like, what the hell is going on, mate? What's going on, mate? Dom looks in the mirror and she presses on the gas and keeps going. And then we hear the quote, I live my life a quarter mile at a time, and for those 10 seconds or less, I'm free. It's like Dominic Toretto's racing to freedom. He's racing off without stopping into the sunset. And we hear the Oppenheimer music, Oppenheimer level music, rising as he's driving, and then the screen turns to black. That's the end of the movie. And it's left to our interpretation what happened. Did he drive off and leave Letty and Mia in pursuit of a different life? Or is he trying to crash himself to get another coma again? We don't know. This is the Oscar-worthy film that Vin Diesel has been looking for. Did I cook, y'all? I cooked a little bit. This is it.
Hey, listen, man. I ain't gonna lie. Bro kind of cooked. He kind of cooked. Because that kind of... If we're talking about Oscar-worthy, and we're talking about... We need to have, like, the kind of acting that can move you. Like, move you. To pull off a synopsis or a type of movie like that. But bro did cook. Now it just all depends on that the level of acting needing to pull it off. And I like that it wasn't all car heavy, wasn't all heisty or anything like that. It was basically on a, it was like, if we're gonna go ahead and look at like how a movie has like its climax and it's like as if the part 1 of Fast and the Furious 10, like how it hit a climax and then it ended it, so part 2 will be like it'll just go and it'll just come down. Ending like that would probably be like that. It reached the top of the series, and then it goes and it comes down to this kind of, whoa, we didn't expect that happening. And it wasn't all car heavy or anything. It was just basically a person coming to grip the reality that their mind had constructed for them for the last 10 years. It's kind of like, actually, no, I can't use that. I was going to say like, it was kind of like, being in the military for a long period of time. Or maybe it is like that. Being in the military for a long period of time. And then when you come back to your regular life, or like you retire and you're coming back to like civilian life, it's completely different, and you're trying to fit in. So I honestly feel like I think I can get behind that type of movie, whether they try to bring back Brian O'Connor in some fashion in this, if they decide to go ahead and bring him back, or if they decide to keep him dead, whether or keep him out of the movie is okay to me. I'm okay with whichever way. But yeah, I honestly believe bro cooked with this one. He kind of did.
Vin Diesel, Universal Studios, take this pitch. I don't want any money. Just take the pitch, put it in the script, all right? But this contemplative philosophical film about Dominic Toretto is supplanted with one thing. We can have an end credit scene. And in that end credit scene, what happens? A freaking T-Rex bursts through the screen. And then we see Dominic Toretto behind it, racing in his Charger with 2 velociraptors at his side. Therefore, we don't know what the fuck just happened. The screen cuts to black again, and we don't know what the fuck just happened. We're left to think, okay, what the hell just happened? Was it all a dream the whole time, or did Dom crash himself again and get another coma? We don't know. That's how you end the Fast and Furious franchise. Alright? That's how you do it. That's how you do it, alright? If you want to know my thoughts on Dwayne...
But they just gonna piss people off at that point. Like, because now people are gonna be wondering. You ended it so well, and then you ended this weird post-edit screen that's gonna piss people off, because now they know that, there's not gonna be another one. What's going on here?
Dwayne Johnson ruining this franchise and ruining everything else. Watch my video on how he's been gaslighting us for the last 20 years, alright? Like and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. If you want to suggest video topics to me and discuss your favorite movies and your favorite film theories with like-minded fans in a community geared towards changing storytelling itself.
Well, he's trying to take over Bollywood. I'm pretty sure that he could at this point, but hey. Yeah. So guys, that was the insane Fast and Furious fan theory that might be true. Honestly, I can see it. I can see it. It does, in a sense, could fit very well within that, but we'll see. We will see. Well, guys, that was the insane Fast and Furious fan theory that might be true. If you guys want to watch the original video, links in the description down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.